Hey, and thank you for clicking play. And first and foremost, thank you so much to everybody that has appreciated, 2,500 people appreciated the $35 MAME cab video, which I'm very pleased with. It needs a clean, and do you know why it needs a clean? Because the joystick assembly is starting to get clean by itself, because now that it's working, I've just been playing it, and that's in part, you know, the fault of OG Duffy. I've mentioned his channel many times, but in his Discord group he does these monthly challenges, high score challenges, and this month, January 2025 at time of recording, getting towards the end of that now, but it's Scramble. I can never get past that bit. And as you can see, I can't get past. That's the first time I've actually got to the Konami sign, so it's no surprise that I didn't manage to bomb that thing that you have to bomb. But other than that, actually that's my best run yet. So what I want to do is just 2 more parts to this arcade cab, and I want to be a bit cheeky with this first part. Now again, thank you to everybody that's given suggestions as to what I could do with this cab, including additions to the joystick, blah blah blah, you know, lots of different things, alternatives to the setup that it's got inside it at the moment, and they're all good suggestions, and I appreciate all of them, because even if I don't take them on board, somebody else reading the comments may think that's a good idea for their project. Here's where I'm at. This cost me $35 for a completely working, pre-set up MAME cab that the transfer station clearly didn't realise there was actually a PC in it, because they sold it as just the cabinet only, the frame only. So I thought it'd be interesting to see, and some of you are going to hate me for this, but how good can I make this thing look with 0 additional spend? So the rule for this video is I can only use, and I'm genuinely only going to use what I have. I'm not going to buy a single additional part. Now, keeping in mind I did already replace a CMOS battery in the PC. I had some of those kicking around anyway. In all honesty, I couldn't find them, so I did buy another pack, but let's not count that. Just between you and me, let's not count that. Let's see. Okay, well, actually, no, let's count that. What did that pack cost me? $20, so for 6. So next to nothing, couple of extra dollars. So let's say we're still under $40, right? For a fully working MAME cab. How good can I get this thing looking without changing that price? Let's give it a go. First and foremost, annoyingly, you know me, I don't like taking apart things that are working, but this thing needs a good clean, inside and out. And don't forget, this did come with a free family of spiders on the underneath. So I think what I've got to do is take all the PC out, the CRT out, so that I can move this cab this way and that. So it's another tear down montage, I guess. I don't like pulling things apart. Let's turn it off. And one of the other things we will be doing is sometimes, the only problem I've had control-wise is sometimes this joystick will drift left. When it's fully centered, the game character will drift, right. Left and right, they're interchangeable with me. It will drift right, and it's easily corrected by bashing it left. So I think I'm just gonna, I don't want to tear down this whole joystick assembly, because that would be stupid, because it's just that one problem, and I'll probably create more problems than solve. So I'm just gonna hit it with some ISO when we get to that. All right, it's off, I'll unplug it, let's tear down the PC and off we go. There we go, that's that all stripped out. Pan down the bottom, get all that crap out, but I want to get this piece of plastic, the glass out, so that we can give that a good clean out of the shell. way is to remove these bits of framing. Remember, 2 of them were missing anyway. Ironically, the one that's left is actually really stuck. There we go. I do love the dust. I do love the dust, but it needs a clean. And you can see they've just put masking tape on the inside there and painted around that. There's nothing wrong with that. All right, let's get this all cleaned up. See how many spiders we got. Okay, I've spotted a fella. That, ladies and gentlemen, right there, I believe that would be a redback. Yeah. Is it? Actually, it might not be. Looks a bit elongated for a redback, unless it's a male. I've been bitten by a male before. They're not as bad as the females, as with most species. Yeah. Triggering anyone? Not sure. Actually, I don't think that is a redback. Nah, he's too long. Redbacks have a really big fat body. What we got up here? Oh, I haven't got my glasses on and it's not focusing very well. Might be something in there. Anyway, let's get the brush on there. Nothing to be overly scared of. I don't think the big one there is actually a redback. And none of these look like redback webs, to be honest. Do you want to see a redback web? These, I don't know if the camera will catch it, but these really random and very thin, sort of quite chaotic webs. They are redback webs. She might not be home, but notice how they're clean, which is why you're probably not even barely seeing them. The fact that they're clean means they are occupied. If they were all dusty, then they're not occupied. Oh, and look, if you look under there, oh, there's redback city under there. Time to get wet. Actually, I was about to hit this with the bucket of suds and what have you, but we should start on the thing that needs to be the cleanest, really, and that's that piece of plastic. So let's get on to that, which we haven't even dusted off yet. Those scratches are going to be a challenge, because they are just etched in, I think.
Get ready.
Yeah, so those scratches, you can see them there. It's all, I don't know if somebody accidentally went through with it with a Dremel, or they dropped it across the wood or whatever, but at the end of the day, again, let's talk about how cheap this is and how I don't want this to be perfect anyway. These scratches have not impeded me whilst playing one iota. More so it was the dust. And again, I quite liked peering through the dust. So let's just move on. I'm not going to replace this. $0 right now, $0. Now this will be my first apology to the previous owner, but these Mario decals, really not me, really not my style of gaming, so these have to go. I hope the ones on the front come off as easy as that, because that was bliss. Oh dear. No, I'm not saving them, they're going in the bin. Milky. Okay, you would have seen me very carefully go over this after wringing out the sponge, but obviously this being the joystick assembly, this is a pre-built unit. It's not just buttons tacked into a piece of board on a bespoke made arcade cab. This itself is a joystick that you could use in your house, whatever. So I don't want to wreck it by getting it wet. So I'm going to go over this to clean it up some more with some alcohol wipes. Okay, now I'm going to hit both these joysticks with some ISO. Okay, look, that's as far as I'm going to go for cleaning. As I said in the first episode where I showed you guys this, I don't want this to be pristine because I'm going to have to tear it down, repaint it, expense I don't want to spare, time I don't want to spare. I don't like tinkering. I'm so glad that so many of you in the hobby are in the hobby for the tinkering because I hate it. It's a chore. It's not enjoyable for me at all. I just want to play games, right? Which I hope makes sense because those of you that do like to tinker, people like me give what you do purpose. Because if people don't play on the kit, what's the point? Tinker with it, make it look brand new, make it work, and then put it on a shelf to collect more dust. It needs to be played with. So I'm here to get back into playing as quickly as possible. Minimum time spent, minimum cost spent. Now, so today we're not going to put any decals and stuff like that on the side. I do want to do some trickery in the marquee, which I'll be a bit cheeky with, but I think I want to keep this. Shell only $35 because it tells the story of this part of this bespoke cabinet's journey. So I guess the next thing we need to do is start putting this back together with items that I already own. No more spending. Okay, so first thing that I need to sort out is putting this block back inside, just inside here, similar to this one here, because that's what that piece of Perspex gets held against. So I'm going to give these surfaces a clean with an alcohol wipe, just to clean them up. Some PVA wood glue that my wife had in a cupboard, haven't spent any money. Let's get this back together. The good thing is, from where it sort of adhered before, sorry, it's here, I can match that up to this, and I can actually match exactly where it should sit. So that's good. I've got G-clamp somewhere. I should have thought about this. I've got a G-clamp. Where is it? As I like to say, better than nothing. And I've got some paper this side to protect the pristine surface that I just washed with a dirty sponge. Now, keep it in mind I'm trying to stick to a zero budget right now. What am I going to do about these exposed surfaces here? Well, down the track, we'll do something a bit more permanent, but I've got a bit of a cheeky fix just for today, which I know is going to trigger some people. I've got some electrical tape. I don't get. Look, it's okay. Keep in mind you're going to be playing here, but you're going to be looking here. And now, stand back. Yeah, what I've done here is we've patched up those exposed surfaces here, so you can see that's all nicely done. Now I'll show you the footage of how I fixed that. It works. That bit of wood just fell down. We're going to need something more permanent there. And if it doesn't bond, we'll have to try a different glue. Maybe the white creamy stuff. Okay, it's the next day. So this has had nearly 24 hours to cure. If this doesn't work, I'm going to drill some holes and put some self-tappers through. I'll have to do a bit of a countersink, but let's have a look. I mean, it's had 24 hours, right? I think it's good. Right, because I know I'm going to have to pull this out again in the future, because future plans, I'd like to put a graphic around the bezel on this. I'm going to use some of this mounting tape. Now I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Chris, that's in its packet. You've clearly spent money, and you said you weren't going to. Not so. I already had this because I'm going to use this to mount a splashback in the kitchen that I've promised the wife for over 2 years I'll put up, and it's still not done. So let's get this done first, and then maybe I'll do the splashback after. Right, let's do that. Now don't hate me, keep in mind that the plan will be in the future, then we'll spend money on it and see how much we can improve it. Still with little expense. The purposes of today is zero spend. So I'm doing it. Right, that looks terrible, but don't look too closely. And at the end of the day, zero cost. So, and of course, one day, you know, I'll put a design on this, and so it's going to have to come off again anyway, and then I'll probably get some square bits of wood, paint them up, and go from there. But for today, I'm happy with that. Or maybe some angled bits of aluminium, we'll see. Right, whilst the tape peels off camera. Next thing is what we're going to do up here. I've got some ideas, but I need a piece of what I think I'm after that's big enough. And then I need to paint it, and then I need to cut it. Zero cost. And now, the lights are off, because it's the best way to look at this. And don't forget, the whole point was to see what we could achieve without spending anything and just using what I have here. Some of the materials were not perfect, but some of this is also proof of concept. Let's go. I will show you close-ups of all the walls. Listen and look. I haven't hacked that yet. You can hack that. I haven't hacked that.
Insert coin.
The weird thing is I'd actually put also a wallpaper up that says insert coin, but I think Windows didn't get around to loading it on that boot before MAME opened. Not perfect, but did you like the sound effect? I'll put a link in the description as to where I made that. It's just one of those text-to-speech websites, so just to give them credit, that's where that sound effect came from. And obviously I've got another sound effect for boot down. Now, unfortunately, what isn't coming on is the light at the top, so I've got to do a bit of manual behind the curtain. Bear with me. It's just a bit of cardboard with some red tissue paper, because that's all we had behind it, and I've cut the word arcade with a craft knife in the top. Now, of course, look, over time we need to properly do this piece of plastic, not with electrical tape. Black gaffer tape was actually what I had in mind, and I can't find any. And do you know what? That would have held, whereas what this electrical tape does is it starts shrinking straight away and it just lets go. It's useless stuff. It's actually held quite well on the straight bits up here. I mean, at a distance, you wouldn't know. But really all I need to do is mask that up with a piece of paper and some masking tape and spray those bits black anyway to cover the glue joints. So really, I'm just being a bit lazy, and I do have some black paint. So I could have done that today, but this will need to be fitted properly. Also, there's a bit of a gap around there. So as soon as you put some lights in here, and I'll show you what light I've used, but you do see the gap in the monitor there as well. So I think actually this piece of plastic was dropped a little. So I'm glad what I've done today is all reversible. I'm so glad everything I've done is reversible. But again, no cost. It's still a $35 cabinet, right? It's still a $35 cabinet. I'll show you what I've done around the back. It's so bodge, and it's not how it's going to stay. That's just cardboard. It's just... Do you hate me? Have you unsubscribed yet? Okay, so the first water's right here. Because I've used a USB light, obviously it's on off, but it resets every time you turn the machine off, every time you cycle power. So at the moment, to turn that light on at the top, I have to press this to turn it on and off, which is not ideal, which is why that's hanging out the back of the cabinet. That's not good at all. I'll show you what kind of light I've used. It's not actually put in there properly. Let's have a look. So in the back, that's where my cardboard's shoved with the red paper underneath it, and I've just got one of these panel lights shoved up there. Now if I was going to use this as a permanent solution with a pink, I thought I had a red gel. That's not the right term for these ones, but anyway, I thought I had a red, but it's actually pink. But anyway, just to add to the tinge, and if I was going to use this solution permanently, then I would probably stick it on the back up there, right at the top, okay? But because of the on-off switch, I can't. I don't want buttons hanging out. That gets quite warm as well. I'll probably set the tissue paper on fire. And now look, from a distance, I don't mind it. But let's get close up. This is clearly cardboard, although the effect isn't too bad. But yeah, so obviously I want to get a vinyl done up for that with a white vinyl behind it. I think that's the correct way of doing it. Stick it. I think what I'm going to have to do is stick it on the outside, because it's going to be too much of a pain to do it from the inside. So it's going to have to be an outside vinyl, and then I'll have to finish off the edges. Well, unless I can build that into the design. That's what I'll do, yeah. So I'm going to design up a bespoke vinyl for that. That's what I'm going to do. Same on here. I want to design up a graphic bezel like you got on Asteroids and the original Space Invaders and stuff like that. But again, do a bespoke one that just sort of leans towards the genericness of this MAME cab. The joystick, I haven't done any play testing, so hopefully giving that a bit of a spray of ISO has fixed that. In fact, I'll do a bit of an update right at the end. But I'm just going to flick on the main light. And look, these are surprisingly effective. But like I said, I would have used gaffer tape, but I'm glad I didn't actually. Even though it would have been better, this is clearly temporary and it's going to be a lot easier to pull off. Whereas if I'd gone with gaffer, you'd end up with a horrible residue that you can't clean off. This will be easy to clean off. The one around the side has just crumpled, it's creased, and it's just started pulling itself up even the same day I've put it on. So again, I'm glad that, look, it's a temporary fix. I need to get some more pieces of wood. I don't think I'm going to go for that picture frame wood. I'm going to get some square little pieces of wood, you know what I mean. Spray them black, glue them on in place. Once I've worked out exactly where that thing should fit, and after I've got that bespoke vinyl put on. So look, I know some people are going to hate on me for what I've done today, and I don't care. It's just for fun to see what I could do without increasing the spend. This is still, I'm saying proudly, this is still a $35 MAME cab, but potentially I've decreased the value with what I've done today. But it's all removable, it's all reversible. And at least now it's clean. So I can get back the last couple of days to that scramble challenge. Thank you for watching. They're never going to come back. They're never going to watch again. Okay, failed. Failed abysmally. I'll try again later, but I've got no drift from this this left-hand joystick, no right-hand drift in an entire game there. So, yeah, seems to have done the trick.
Game over.
I'm in the game. I'm EA. Pac-Man. Wagga, 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 wagga.